Well, I hope you're ready for some unindoctrination, because ready or not, here it comes. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, your mailman, making my appointed rounds, and it's Sunday. So that means it's not your normal Sunday. And today we're going to address one of the great lies, one of the great fears, one of the great worries, we're going to neuter the fear porners today, because this is one of the great fear porn tactics, one of the great fear porn ideas that poisons the minds of great Americans, poisons the mind of Americans that should know better. And the shirt says Jesus slaves, if you're wondering. But this one question, these two questions are entrapping more people than anything else. More people than anything else. And we're not going to do fear porn. We're not going to allow fear porn. And if you do have something that you want to question, something you want to challenge, save it till the end. I will open up the phone lines. But right now, we're going to get into this study. And I want to let you know that this broadcast is brought to you by the amazing folks at Focused Life Force Energy. It is, ladies and gentlemen, high consciousness on demand, sent right to your home, sent right to your phone. Nice to see you, Harry. And you can go to jeffreydaugherty.com and click on the fluffy logo. You can get 30 days free, 15 on your phone, 15 on your home. But I encourage you to just get it, especially in these times. You need to have Focused Life Force Energy, EMF mitigation, grounding, brain optimization, great for uptake of nutrients in your water and your food, your plants, your animals. Not that you're eating your plants or your animals, but they're eating too. So good stuff. Make sure you get it. There are our great sponsor, Focused Life Force Energy. So as Sarah Kay says, here we go. And let's go ahead and take a look at our main subject today. Why POTUS 45? Why Donald Trump will use the military to distribute his therapeutics / vaccine, and what will happen on November 3rd and November 4th. What will happen on November 3rd and November 4th as Tracy sneaks in. I saw you, Tracy. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Jeffrey Daugherty confronts the lying, hidden, demon rat scumbag operatives with some help from the great Mike King of realhistory.com. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. You've heard it at least 1,000 times if you've heard it one time. Trump's using the military because he's going to force vaccines on us. People with low integrity, and I'm not talking about the people that are repeating it. I'm talking about the fear porn pushers that are saying this, the people that get on channels and say these words. They are the traitors to America. They are the communist sympathizers. They are the Antifa agents. They are the cowards. They're only there to do one thing, to keep you from voting for Donald Trump. Because if you don't vote for Donald Trump, or if you don't vote, it is a vote for Joe Biden and the restoration of the New World Order, the restoration of the global agenda. Because I've shown you, proven to you on this channel from the words of the global agenda itself, President Trump has caused the global agenda to come to a halt. They said the words. Look at my videos. You'll see it there. So Trump's going to use the military to force the vaccine. This line of thinking is classic confirmation bias. What is confirmation bias? It's the tendency to search for, interpret, favor, and recall information in a way that confirms or supports one's prior beliefs or values. It's an important type of cognitive bias that has a significant effect on the proper functioning of society by distorting evidence-based decision-making. See, these people don't look at the evidence, or the only evidence they want to look at is the Bible, and we'll show you why that's their base of evidence. And they say the Bible's got to be true, so this has to happen. While some of them cowardly and hypocritically say, but you can manifest your own reality. Pick a side. People tend to interpret ambiguous evidence as supporting their existing position. But Donald Trump's position on vaccine distribution is ambiguous. But when you are sure that it's going to go wrong, you start making sure that everything that you see supports that is going to go wrong. The effect is strongest for desired outcomes, for emotionally charged issues, and for deeply entrenched beliefs. Are there any more deeply entrenched beliefs than those of the Bible prophecy crowd? No, there's not. Confirmation bias is broad. It covers lots of explanations. It makes bias search, bias interpretation, bias memory to explain and attain polarization when a disagreement becomes more extreme, even though the different parties are exposed to the same evidence. I can show people evidence of why Donald Trump is going to use the military, but some of you still won't be able to see it. And the ones that are perpetrating the lies will not be able to see it because they don't want to, because they're getting paid. It's an irrational primacy effect, a greater reliance on information encountered early in a series, and an illusory correlation when people falsely perceive an association between two events or situations. And this irrational primacy effect is especially harmful because you just believe the first thing you heard. And if some idiot on YouTube tells you that Donald Trump is using the military because he's going to force vaccinations, that's the first thing that you believe. And even when you get information later that contradicts these idiots, these liars, these traitors to America, these communist Antifa sympathizers, some of them that have worn the uniform and are traitors to their own country. This is what this is, and I want you to know that's what it is. Now, a series of psychological experts in the 60s suggested that people are biased towards confirming their existing beliefs. Later work reinterpreted those results as a tendency to test ideas in a one-sided way, focusing on one possibility and ignoring alternatives. It's called my-side bias, an alternative name for confirmation bias. This is what this channel is against. This channel is against indoctrination, and that's what that's talking about. Indoctrination. You're indoctrinated. Some of these foolish idiots actually say, my convictions are not subject to debate. I challenged one of these idiots. I challenged one of these idiots to a debate. And he actually told me, my convictions are not subject to debate. Well, then you're not a truther. You're not a truther. I had a little verbal confrontation with someone that I care a great deal about that just wanted to tell me what they thought, but would not allow any discussion. And I said, you can't do that. You can't make a speech. We can talk about anything you want. And I wish we would because I like to do it. I learn. But you're not going to make a speech and then say that's my convictions can't be questioned. That's not being a truther. That's not being a truth seeker. That's a my side bias. In certain situations, this tendency can bias people's conclusions, and explanations for the observed biases include wishful thinking and limited human capacity to process information. But what I've discovered is it's bad wishful thinking. People want bad news. They want to believe that they're going to get forced into a vaccination. They want to believe that the military is going to hold them down. They want to believe that the economy is going to crash. They want to believe that we're going to be locked down. They want to believe there's going to be chopping heads and mark of the beast. They want to believe it. And I can't figure out why they want to believe it. The only answer is that they believe the Bible, and their confirmation bias, their my side bias says the Bible has to come true, and the Bible says those things are going to happen. More on that later in the program, ladies and gentlemen. More on that later in the program. Another explanation is that people show confirmation bias because they're weighing up the cost of being wrong rather than investigating in a neutral scientific way. That's really what it is. These lying fools know what they're doing, the ones that are putting out the content, and the poor people that should know better, but I'm trying to lay off the people because they're getting fooled. They should know better. But when they're so invested in their channel and they're so invested with having to admit that they're wrong, they don't want to admit that they're wrong. It's ego. They'd rather be wrong than investigate in a neutral scientific way. However, even scientists and intelligent people can be prone to confirmation bias. Of course we can. Confirmation bias contributes to overconfidence in personal beliefs and can maintain or strengthen beliefs in the face of contrary evidence. It's my convictions and they're not debatable. Why? Because I say so. Yeah, but look at this evidence right here. It proves that you're wrong. Nope. I will not. I have got my mind made up and I will not be confused by the truth. Poor decisions based on these biases have been found in political, organizational, financial, scientific, and so-called truther contexts, ladies and gentlemen. For example, confirmation bias produces systematic errors in scientific research based on inductive reasoning, which is the gradual accumulation of supportive evidence. Similarly, a police detective may identify a subject early in an investigation, but then may only seek confirming rather than disconfirming evidence. The people that want to tell you Trump's going to use the military to force vaccines, they've decided that Trump is going to force a vaccine, and they only see evidence that supports that, no matter what evidence you bring them. Lady Justice in the chat room. Oh, man, Tracy knocked her out. That's funny. Plus, most of them, I'm talking about the people that are on channels, and I'd love to name their names, but why give them free advertising? The people that are on channels that are saying that Trump is going to use the military to force a vaccine, they are paid to spread disinformation. And they are being paid to keep Donald Trump from being reelected. They are blind, leading the blind. And I'm appealing to you today to open your eyes and think for yourself. Here's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. Or here's some contrary evidence that I hope that you will be able. Shady J, you shouldn't be. Listen to the last videos I did. See, this is why I do those videos, and this is why I will not allow you to say this foolishness on my channel anymore. Folks, the reason why Donald Trump, President Trump, will not use the healthcare system is because he can't trust the U.S. healthcare system. The U.S. healthcare system, the U.S. pharmaceutical market, the U.S. sick care system is thoroughly and totally corrupted by the deep state. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. Oh, Jeff, it's easy to say that. I'm going to prove it to you. And you're about to find out, ladies and gentlemen, if you've got confirmation bias. You're about to find out if you've got a my side bias right now, because I'm about to lay some truth, some facts on you that are absolutely undeniable and absolutely explain to you why Donald Trump has chosen, President Donald Trump has chosen to use the military to distribute rather than the death care system, the sick care system, the corrupted deep state medical system, pharmaceutical system, hospital system, doctor system within the United States. Watch and learn. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cousins of all ages. Are you ready? Here we go. I want you to meet the IDF-linked cybersecurity group that is protecting U.S. hospitals for free. This is from unlimitedhangout.com. The IDF-linked cyberspace group protecting U.S. hospitals, and they're protecting it for free. Anonymous volunteers from an opaque group founded by former commander of Israel's Unit 8200 have been granted unfettered access to some of the most critical private and public networks in the U.S. healthcare and pharmaceutical sectors with the help of a U.S. federal agency now run by a former Microsoft executive. Let me define some terms. Opaque means it's not transparent. So there's an anonymous, voluntary, non-transparent group that is founded by a former commander of Israel's Unit 8200. What is Israel's Unit 8200? Israeli Intelligence Corps, unit of Israeli Defense Forces, responsible for collecting signal intelligence, or SIGINT, and code decryption. Military publications include references to Unit 8200 as the central collection unit of the Intelligence Corps, and it is sometimes referred to as Israeli SIGINT National Unit, or the ISNU. It's subordinate to Amman, the Military Intelligence Directorate. The United States medical system has turned over critical information, has given unfettered access to a anonymous cyber security group run by people that run Israel's intelligence agencies. But wait, there's more, because the unit is composed of 18 to 21-year-olds. And as a result of the soldiers in the unit, the shortness of their service period, the unit relies on selecting recruits with the ability for rapid adaptation and speedy learning. How are they recruiting these kids, ladies and gentlemen? Think about that for a minute. How are they recruiting and identifying these kids? Because they're gamers. They're hackers. All the dots begin to connect. After-school programs for 16 to 8-year-olds teaching computer coding and hacking skills also serve as a feeder program for the unit. Former Unit 8200 soldiers have, after completing their military service, listen to this, former Unit 8200 soldiers have, after completing their military service, gone on to found and occupy top positions in many international IT companies and Silicon Valley. All right, I am not going to warn you again. If you troll the chat, you're banned from chatting on the channel. I will open the phones at the end. If you don't have the balls to make the calls, then shut the hell up. Lady Justice says our healthcare system has always been an illusion. They can't be trusted. She's absolutely right. And now they are a corrupt part of the corrupt deep state. And the people that run Silicon Valley, the people that run big tech that we know are against us, are running our healthcare system. They're running our medical system. They're running our hospital systems. They're running our doctors. Who do you think runs the AMA, the American Medical Association? The deep state. The AMA is a deep state organization. According to the director of military sciences at the Royal United Service Institute, Unit 8200 is probably the foremost technical agency in the world and stands on a par with the NSA in everything except scale, which means size. Do you understand what I'm saying? The NSA has been given control of all your medical data. And if President Trump were to allow the medical establishment to distribute a vaccine or to distribute therapeutics, he's giving it to the deep state to do it. You know your president's not that stupid. And the people that are telling you this aren't that stupid. They're just complicit. But are you that stupid? That's the question. Are you that stupid? Since the dosum vis crisis began earlier this year, the strain on hospitals in the U.S. and around the world has been the subject of a considerable number of media reports because there hasn't been a strain. However, hardly any media attention has been given to the dramatic and unsettling changes that have been made to hospital and healthcare information technology. Oh, look at the dosum vis, look at the dosum vis, but don't look over here while we give all of your medical information to the deep state. It's so plain. It's so clear. Oh, we're overrun and there's nobody in the hospitals. Oh, it's terrible and there's nobody in the hospitals. But while you're looking at that, behind your back, they gave all access to your medical data to the deep state, the NSA, Israel 8200. hospital and healthcare information technology systems and infrastructure under the guise of helping the U.S. healthcare system cope with the surge in data, as well as an unsettling uptick in cyber attacks. And how, if you wait a minute, who does 8200 hire? Oh yeah, they hire hackers. And if you wanted to say, wow, you guys are getting hacked, you need us to take over, what do? Have your guys hack. Over the past several months, 80%, and I'm sure it's 100% now, 80% of healthcare institutions in the United States have reported being targeted by some sort of cyber attack. Amazing, isn't it? And most of these attempts have been aimed at illegally acquiring troves of patient data. Data is the most precious thing in this economy, including recent hacks of hospitals in Chicago and Utah. You run a group that's a bunch of hackers. This is a shakedown. This is old-fashioned mafioso shakedown. Tony, go out there and rough up some of them peoples. Let them think that you a thug. So Tony goes out there, does what he does. And then Louie, go on behind him and say, look, I'll protect you from thugs like Tony. Southern Well, what do they need your information for? Think about that again. Think about that question. They've got all of your healthcare information because they created a problem and then they came in and solved it. It's just like Christianity. They created the fact in their mind that you've got original sin when you've really born with a spark of divinity within. They made you a sinner and then decided they'll save you from the sin they gave you. Aren't they nice guys? Isn't Jesus, who slaves you, a great guy? You don't have original sin. You're born with the spark of divinity within, but I'm going to convince you got original sin, and then I'm going to save you from what I gave you. It's the same thing. They're convincing the medical system that they're being hacked. They're really just creating justification for it. And then the hackers that have been hacking you are going to protect you. And you're stupid enough to believe these idiot traitors that are telling you that Trump is trying to use the military because he wants to suppress you? I refuse to believe you're that stupid. I refuse to believe that you're that stupid. One of the reasons for the increase in the success of these cyber attacks has been the fact that more healthcare IT workers are working remotely. Because of what? Because of the DOSM. And many IT staffers have been laid off or let go completely. Why? Because the hospitals have been closed to doing their most profitable procedures, which are elective in nature, while the hospitals are empty. In several recent instances, the removal of entire hospital IT staffs has been tied to the larger effort by the Department of Health and Human Services to consolidate control over patient data, to consolidate control over patient data, to consolidate control over patient data. They have taken your they have used the DOSM WIST hoax to take all of your medical data and give it to the deep state. What could the deep state do with all of my medical data? Well, God forbid that you had some herpes or some clap or something. What if your wife found out that you had caught the clap? She will not be giving you a standing ovation. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on and on. What if they know what you're allergic to? And they can arrange for one of their plants to put that in your food next time you go to the drive-thru. With the assistance of secreted government contractors with long-standing ties to Health and Human Services. DD, this is your last warning. Or you're gone because you're a little slimy troll who doesn't have the guts to call. Shut up or you're gone. You will never be able to comment on this channel again. This is serious. Folks, listen to what just happened. IT staffs have been done away with. Because all of your doctors, your hospitals, they have outsourced your data to the deep state. Critical thinker, you shouldn't trust doctors anymore. Make them prove and earn your trust. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the deep state in action. And amid this backdrop, an odd group of cyber threat intelligence analysts with ties to the U.S. government, Israeli intelligence, and tech giant Microsoft. And some of the guys telling you these things were in Israeli intelligence and worked for tech giant Microsoft, and you still believe them. Are you really that stupid? I can't believe you're that stupid. And they volunteered, because they love us so much, they volunteered to protect U.S. healthcare institutions for free and are directly partnering with the U.S. federal agencies because they want your data, because they can control you with your data. They've also recently expanded to offer their services to government and social media platforms to target, analyze, and neutralize alleged disinformation campaigns related to the dosum west. Do you see where this is going? They've taken over your medical data. Now they're going to take over all of your social media data, and you're going to wind up with the social scoring like you see in China. And it's laid out for you, but you refuse to see it because people that used to be part of Israeli intelligence and used to work for Microsoft, or at least they say they did, are telling you that Trump is going to use the military, and their idiot, stupid cousins, who might even be dumber than they are telling you it, and you're believing it. You're not that dumb. You're not that stupid. You're not that compromised. They're bought and paid for, not you. They're stupid, not you. They've sold their souls, not you. Listen to yourself. While these analysts claim to have altruistic motives, that means nice guy motives, members who have identified themselves publicly have notably dedicated much of their private sector careers to blaming nation states, i.e. communism, they're for communism, and for hacking and cyber attacks related to the 2020 presidential campaign. They're against President Trump. They call themselves the Justice League, the Cyber Justice League. It's because they're 18-year-old soy boy idiots. The dosum west Cyber Threat Intelligence League was created earlier this year in March and describes itself as the first global volunteer emergency response community defending and neutralizing cybersecurity threats and vulnerabilities to the life-saving sectors relating to the dosum west. They now claim to have 1,400 members from 76 different countries, and they've been given pasty-faced 18 to 21-year-old nerds who love Antifa and hate America have been given access to your medical records, your medical system, and the whole medical service from the AMA down to your local doctor has been compromised by the deep state. According to their website, they protect medical organizations, public health care facilities, and emergency organizations from threats and offer their services free to hospitals, healthcare, and pharmaceutical companies, as well as U.S. law enforcement and federal agencies. Shady J says, can it be stopped? Yes. Go out on Tuesday and vote for Donald Trump, and it will be stopped. He's already stopping it. In addition, these expert volunteers also tackle alleged disinformation campaigns related to the dosum west. Like when you try to say masks don't work, I've got something I'll show you probably tomorrow night on the late night show about, well, I could probably show you right now, that proves that masks don't work. Everybody that wears a mask gets the dosum west, and it makes perfect sense why they get the dosum list. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick, because it's just staggering information. If you follow my Twitter, you will have seen it already. It shows graphs of what happens when people wear their freaking masks. And when you wear your freaking mask, you get the freaking dosum. It's just the way it works. They might have already pulled it off of my Twitter. Those rat bastards, these same people that we're talking about today, have already pulled stuff down off of my Twitter, unless I can find it here in the next couple minutes. There's Charlie Sheen. What the hell's Charlie Sheen saying? He's funny. I know I shouldn't like him, but for some reason, I think he's funny. Shoot, I can't find it now, but there's graphs, and I will find it. I think it's also in my email. There's graphs about, where did that go? Some graphs. Oh, no, that's not it. There's graphs that show what happens when you wear the mask. And when you wear the mask, you get the dosum west. That's just the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. Spend some time searching through my Twitter. You'll find it, unless they've taken it down. But anyway, it is there. It is there. And see, disinformation is that 5G is related to dosum whist. Disinformation is that you should not stay locked up. Disinformation is that you should exercise your First and Second Amendment rights. That's disinformation that the same guys that have got your data are pushing. Why would President Trump not want these guys to distribute the virus, to distribute the therapeutics? Why wouldn't President Trump want NSA-backed deep state 18 to 21-year-olds that have compromised this very security of the United States and are working against everything that President Trump is working for? Why would he resist allowing them to distribute the vaccines and or therapeutics? Are you that stupid, you lying, sorry bastard traitors that get on your channel and say President Trump is using the military because he wants to force it on us? He should be using the healthcare system to distribute the vaccine. You are a lying, dirty, filthy, rotten traitor. And only that, you're a coward with no testicles because you won't come on this show. You won't meet me face to face. Quit lying to the people. And my friends, if you are stupid enough to believe these people, then you deserve what you get. You're better than this. Stop it. The CTI League neutralizes any threat in the cyber domain regarding the current pandemic, including disinformation, including the fact that a mask makes you sick. The mission of their effort is to find, analyze, and coordinate responses to the current pandemic disinformation incidents as they happen, whereas our special skills and connections are most useful. I thought they were there to protect the data. They're just there to protect the data for free. Ain't nothing free. Ain't nothing free. They work closely with the Health Information Sharing and Analysis Center, Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, Merck, Amgen, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Athena Health. You know, it's interesting, the one that President Trump keeps mentioning in relation to the therapeutics isn't on that list. That's interesting. Denise Anderson, who's the president, works with the National Cybersecurity and Communications Integration Center, part of the Department of Homeland Security, which we know is just our friends. I just answered your question. It can be answered by voting for Donald Trump on November 3rd. According to the chief security officer, the organization has partnered with the CTI League since very early on in the dosum whist crisis. The CTI League also works with law enforcement partners in the U.S. and particularly within the U.S. Cybersecurity and Information Security Agency, CISA, an independent federal agency. That should scare the hell out of you. An independent federal agency, deep state, overseen by the Department of Homeland Security. The current, listen to this, folks, if it's not bad enough, the current director of the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency is a guy named Christopher Krebs, who was previously the director of cybersecurity for Microsoft. Why won't President Trump let the medical experts distribute the vaccine? Why won't President Trump let the experts distribute the therapeutic? Why won't President Trump listen to the medical experts? Because he's not as stupid as you are. He's still got a brain in his head. He still thinks for himself, which you can't do anymore because you keep listening to these ridiculous traitors. The public face is a young Israeli named Ohad Zaydenberg. He was an award-winning commander in military intelligence unit 8200. He's also the lead cyber intelligence researcher at Clear Sky Cybersecurity, an Israeli company directed and partnered with Unit 8200. Also has a long history of fraud and espionage targeting the U.S. federal government. The motherfucker that's running this bullshit has a long history of fraud and espionage targeting the U.S. federal government, and you sorry motherfuckers on your sorry motherfucking channels telling us not to vote for Trump so this motherfucker can take over and give you some motherfucking money, you motherfucking piece of shit. They collaborate daily with Israeli-owned subsidiaries founded by Boaz Dolev, the former head of Israeli government's e-government platform. And not one of you little chicken bitches will stand up and let your data be challenged. I'm destroying your ass today. I have just wrecked your motherfucking asses, bitches. You're done. Shit. That's what we're talking about right there. Who are these people? Who are these people? The individuals that have access to your data are vetted only by the 4 individuals that started the SETI League. Mark Rogers began his career as a hacker and later a hacktivist. He's the VP. The other one is, and oh, by the way, he was a co-founder of Salesforce Executives. He was of capital firm Horowitz. Horowitz is another one of them. You got Zadenberg, you got Rogers, you got Horowitz. And Horowitz is advised by the Secretary of Treasury and friend of Jeffrey Epstein. And his friend Larry Summers is a major investor. They're led by former Israeli Prime Minister and close friend of Jeffrey Epstein, Ehud Barak. Thank you, Alan. I did get carried away, but sometimes I got to do it. And aside from Rogers, Zadenberg, Warfield, Chris Mills, former self-described gray hat hacker, works as a senior program manager for Microsoft. Mills also works for the MSRC, which he previously created the U.S. Navy Forensics Lab while serving in the Navy Cyber Defense Operations Command. They're also directly affiliated with Microsoft's Election Guard, voting machine software developed by companies closely tied to DARPA and Israeli military intelligence. And now they've got your medical data. And these paid whores on these other channels are telling you not to vote for Donald Trump, because if Donald Trump wins, this goes away and they don't get paid anymore. It's just that simple. It's truly stunning that an unnamed members vetted only by Zadenberg, Warfield, Mills, and Rogers, cough, cough, have been cleared to access all critical private and public networks, all because of the pandemonium caused by the Dosum Wis crisis and the League's offering of their free help. Despite its massive conflicts of interest, this untransparent group is now nestled within the U.S. critical information structure and enjoying little of any oversight, justified by the League's altruism. As a consequence, this group's lack of transparency, if you don't elect Donald Trump, will easily lend itself to be used as a springboard for an FF cyber attack to fit the very narrative pushed by Zadenberg and his affiliates. From a national security perspective, allowing this league to operate in this capacity would normally be unthinkable, yet this suspect organization is openly partnered with the government, with the law enforcement agencies, with the voting machines. And you wonder why President Trump won't use these guys to distribute the vaccine. You wonder why President Trump won't allow these guys to distribute his therapeutics. Do I really have to explain it anymore to you? Have you lost your ability to think? Have you become a child? Have you become a stupid individual? Have you become that stupid that you can't connect those dots? Who recruited President Trump to run in 2016 rather than initiating a military coup? The military. Who has protected President Trump since he got elected? The military. Why has President Trump done far more than any other president for veterans? because he loves the veterans. You're looking at a veteran right here, 7 years in the United States Air Force. I didn't have any health insurance. I couldn't afford it. I quit my job. I had no health insurance. President Trump signs the Mission Act. I go to the VA. Here's my income. Well, shit, that's pretty low, Jeff. Yeah, I know. Well, guess what? Because President Donald Trump has your back, you got some free health care. You got some free secular Messiah one more time and you're out. Don't be a little bitch. Wait until it's time to call or shut the hell up. Here's your free medical. Here's your free dental. Free. It's not free because I earned it with 7 years of my life. President Trump has a long-standing partnership with the U.S. military. He trusts the U.S. military. The U.S. military trusts him. These therapeutics, which is going to be the main thing, the vaccine is going to be an afterthought, only for you people that for some reason think you got to have a vaccine. The therapeutics and the vaccine will have the Trump name all over them. It's going to be the Trump therapeutics. Well, they're rolling out the Trump therapeutics. They are now distributing the Trump vaccine. The vaccine, the therapeutics will have the Trump name on them. And he cannot trust that vaccine. He cannot trust those therapeutics in the hands of the deep state healthcare system. He'd have to be as stupid as you are for listening to these no integrity assholes. He'd have to be as stupid as you are to take his Trump therapeutics and take his clean vaccine for those of you that just got to have a vaccine and give it to swamp creatures to distribute. It wouldn't get to you. It wouldn't get from him to you the way it was supposed to be. That's not true, LR. President Trump is not the kind of man that would keep a therapeutic away from a Democrat. He'll give it to every American that wants it. But President Trump can trust the military to oversee and distribute the therapeutics to end user healthcare workers. President Trump is developing the therapeutic. He was in the hospital how long? He was healed like that. He's going to distribute that. And the military is going to distribute it. The military, it'll probably even be military nurses and physician assistants that'll give you those therapeutics. And if you got to have it, the vaccine. I was in the Air Force for 7 years. I found the healthcare to be outstanding. You don't get to pick your doctor, but who cares? It's a doctor. It's a doctor. It was excellent. I have no problem with a military doctor giving me a therapeutic if I need it. I won't need it. I won't need it. It's not complicated. You've seen why President Trump can't trust the medical establishment. Why he can't trust the hospitals. He can't trust the doctors. He can't trust the AMA. He can't trust them. And he can trust the military. That's why he's going to use the military to distribute the vaccines. That's why he's going to use the military to distribute the therapeutics. And the vaccine is not even going to be a thing. He's pushing the therapeutics because they work. But there's some of you that just got to have a vaccine. If it doesn't say vaccine, you got to have a vaccine. I got to have a vaccine. Well, he'll have something for you too. He'll have something for you too. And yet these horrible, horrible people on their horrible, horrible channels are telling you that President Trump is using the military because he wants to force it on you. And he's never said he's going to force it. He's using the military because he can't trust the healthcare system to deliver it to you. And these people are pushing, we're not pushing you to vote for Biden. No, you're pushing us not to vote. And if you don't vote, it's a vote for Biden. And tomorrow night on Late Night in the Heartland, we're going to tell you what happens if you vote for Biden. Now you know why President Trump will use the military to distribute therapeutics in the vaccine. And now let's talk about what happens on November 3rd and 4th. This is going to run a little long. If you have to go, I understand. But this is some great stuff from Mike King. This is the second biggest worry. The first worry is, the vaccine and the military. Oh, my God. We've put that aside. If you continue to worry about that, it's because you don't have. If you continue to worry about that, you're just stupid. I'm sorry, but you're stupid. I've shown you the facts. There's no reason to worry. But if you keep worrying about it, then you're stupid. And you can't fix stupid. And I'm going to stop trying. But the second big thing is, oh my God, what's going to happen on the election? What's going to happen after the election? It's going to be horrible, terrible. And I got to tell you, if you were right now having a C60 purple power course through your veins, you wouldn't be feeling this way. If you were partaking of the power of the fountain of youth, if you were partaking of C60, which re-energizes you at a mitochondrial level that's inside your cells, if you had the C60 purple power knocking out the heavy metals from your brain, you wouldn't be caught in this loop of stupidity. They say you can't fix stupid. Well, you can. C60 purple power will help you fix stupid. Get it now. Take it now. Some of you really, really need it. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com. Click on the C60 logo. There's a nice discount built right in. Or if you just hate my website, you can go to c60purplepower.com and use the code TCW10. Cliff High says it keeps him alive, and it can keep you from being stupid. 1972, The Godfather. There's a scene where the consigliere of the Corleone family, played by Robert Duvall, has a little talk with a movie producer and says, hey, we want this boy to have the role. And the movie producer says, well, what are you going to do for me? He says, well, you're about to have some labor trouble and we can make it go away. Movie producer gets all upset. They put a horse head in his bed. What the movie producer was doing, what the consigliere was doing was saying, if you don't give our boy the role, we're going to cause a strike and we're going to shut you down. That's what he was saying. And if we turn our attention to the globalist, limbish mafia, we can interpret some of the similarly thuggish threats and warnings that have been emanating from prominent Democrats. They've been doing the same thing. They've been threatening us. I'm going to show you how they've been threatening you. Like Big Mike Obama. This is from Mike King. Creepy pedo Joe Biden and Heels Up Harris. He called her something else, started with an H. I edited a little bit. Heels Up Harris. And as evidenced by the ominously provocative headlines about a doomsday scenario, violence, disaster, catastrophe, constitutional crisis. Isn't it interesting that the regime media that we all say, oh, it's fake news, and the people that are on YouTube telling you, the ones that I tell you about, the idiots, they say the same thing. What are they talking about on their channels? Doomsday, violence, disaster, catastrophe, crisis. These notorious flagship vessels of the regime media, like the New York Times and the Washington Post, the Uden press is in full force. And I can name the names of the people on YouTube, and you know their names. And their message is clear. If you don't get rid of Donald Trump on November 3rd, there's going to be hell to pay. Their message is clear. If you don't get rid of Donald Trump on November the 3rd, there's going to be hell to pay. And if you don't believe me, all you have to do is look at the media that Mike King is talking about. And I'm going to show you something from realhistorychan.com. And I think it's a free thing. It's a bonus. You can go look at it. realhistorychan.com. Limbish journalists inciting for chaos. Gabriel, Brooks, Friedman, cough, cough. They are pushing, this is New York Times, doomsday scenario for election night by Trip Gabriel, cough, cough. What if early results in swing states showed Donald Trump ahead? Because they will. They're showing you, folks, that Donald Trump is going to win, and it's going to be apparent early. And what if Donald Trump declares victory because he has won the popular vote and the electoral vote by huge margins, but before the Democrat mail-in votes come in, which aren't enough of them anyway, but they're going to make you want to wait, which he is falsely linked with fraud. falsely linked with fraud when they're finding them in the garbage. They're finding people harvesting in them, but it's false. See, they're creating a doomsday scenario, just like your YouTube assholes are doing. What's the worst thing that could happen? Violence and a constitutional crisis. The prophecy gang wants the same thing. Rosa Brooks, cough, cough. In every scenario, except a Biden landslide, our simulation ended catastrophically. If you don't vote for Donald Trump, it's going to be catastrophe. This one from Friedman, cough, cough. If you don't vote for Donald Trump, it's an unprecedented disaster. If you vote for Donald Trump, I misstated it there. But look what we got here, ladies and gentlemen. We got Big Mike Obama. It's either him/her or a deep fake video. She, who used to be he, says, if you think things possibly can't get any worse, trust me, they can. If we don't make a change in this election, they will. If you have any hope of ending this chaos, you got to vote for Joe Biden like your life depends on it. Here is Big Mike Obama saying, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, the chaos is going to continue. If you don't vote for Joe Biden, your lives are in danger. That's what Big Mike Obama said. Creepy Pedo Joe said, does anyone believe there'll be less violence in America if Donald Trump is reelected? What's he saying? He's saying, if you don't vote for me, there's going to be violence in America, just like Big Mike said. And then you got Heels Up Harris. These protests are not going to stop. Yes, they are, bitch. They're not going to stop. Yes, they are, bitch. They're not. Yes, they are, bitch. This is a movement. I'm telling you, they're not going to stop. I'm telling you, they're going to stop by November 4, bitch. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They are going to stop. How many times have you said that? Oh, they're not going to stop before Election Day. They're not going to stop after Election Day. And everybody should take note of that. You got a threat from this bitch. You got a threat from this bitch. And you got a threat from that bitch. Don't you see what's happening? They're threatening you. And Mike King interestingly ties it to, and we're going to be ending with this, he interestingly ties it to talk from Fight Club. Now, you know, the first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. And we're not really going to talk about Fight Club, but Fight Club has entered the fray. And the barely veiled threats from these people tie back to crumbs which the Fight Club team posted between October 31st and November 2nd of 2017. And the meanings of these posts weren't exactly clear back then, but Fight Club has often said the future proves the past, which means, in Mike King's opinion, I think he's right, that certain early scenes in this movie, aka this plan, are really part of the middle or ending of the story. So let's look at some of these mysterious 2017 posts from Fight Club and see how and if the decodes make sense today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at that. And if you got somewhere else to go, we understand, but boy, where else do you have to go that you're going to get any information better than this? I don't think there's anything better, and it's certainly not the NFL. All right, so watch what we got here from Fight Club, ladies and gentlemen. From the Fight Club post 22 of October 31, 2017, who controls the NG, which is the National Guard? Why was the National Guard recently activated in cities within the U.S.? Can the National Guard work in coordination with the Marines? The answer is yes. When activated during a national emergency, which can be done by President Trump, then he would control and coordinate with the Marines, the National Guard with the Marines. We didn't want this, but they said it's not going to end. It will end, and we're going to end it. Post 24 from Fight Club on November 1st, 2017. A person making statements that they will not be seeking re-election was put in submission. For the betterment of the country, not all will be prosecuted. Why haven't any of these people been prosecuted? Listen up, dummies. Not everybody's going to be prosecuted, but they will do as they're told. You're going to see more of this occur even on the Democrat side. So here's the analysis of that from Mike King, and it's brilliant. After this prediction was made, an astonishing number, a record number, of Republican congressmen, including House Speaker Paul Ryan, resigned. They quit in advance of the 18 midterms and in advance of the 2020 presidential election. Most of them were anti-Trumpers. Why did all of the anti-Trumper people up for re-election suddenly decide that they would retire? Well, because President Trump had a little talk with him. He said, look, boys and girls, you got two choices. We're caught. You can be prosecuted and you can go to a little cell, or you can just retire and go straight to hell. A lot of them chose retirement, and some of them did get a one-way ticket to their afterlife, such as John McCain. And on the Democrat side, there were similar submissions. And that would explain why Democrats appear to be comically self-destructing. Is the self-destruction of the Democrats a desperate and deliberate plea deal, consequence of their submission to President or to Sheriff Trump? If you don't do what I say, you're going to jail. Okay, I'll do it. Explains a lot, doesn't it? Do conditions need to be satisfied to authorize the National Guard? What former president used the military to save the republic, and what occurred exactly? What did President Trump do for stupid 19? Post 24, the masses tend to panic in such situations. No war, no civil unrest, clean and swift. When the hammer drops, November 3rd, President Trump's going to win by a landslide. And there's some cities that are going to burn. There's going to be a lot of riots that are going to start. And the Guinness Book of World Records will have to be reprinted because these will be the shortest riots in the history of riots. You want to talk about Operation Warp Speed? You're going to see these people, the Antifa, the BLM, the limbs. You're going to see these rioters reap the whirlwind faster than they can ever imagine. President Trump always says, what would it take us, half an hour to clean it up? Go ahead and riot, bitches. Go ahead and riot and see what happens. I dare you. And once it happens to one of them, these cowards will tuck tail and run. Think about it logically. The only way is the military, fully controlled. Once 11-3 verifies as first marker. 11-3, November 3rd, a very important sign. Did it originally refer to November 3rd, 2020? I think so. We'll look at a couple more. Post 34, November 1, 2017. My fellow Americans, over the course of the next several days, you'll undoubtedly realize we're taking back our great country, the land of the free, from the evil tyrants that wish to do us harm and destroy the last remaining refuge of shining light. On POTUS order, we've initiated certain fail-safes that shall safeguard the public from the primary fallout, which is slated to occur upon 11-3. Upon the arrest announcement of Mr. Podesta, confirmation of what is occurring will then be revealed and will not be openly accepted. Public riots are being organized in serious numbers in an effort to prevent the arrest and capture of more senior public officials. There goes the date of 11-3 again, accompanied by some prediction of unrest related to fallout. It'll happen, it'll be short, it'll be sweet, and then we're going to see perp walks. Number 34, on POTUS order, a state of temporary military control will be actioned and special ops carried out. This fits in with the left's current threats to trigger violence immediately after Election Day. Post 34, rest assured, safety and well-being of every man, woman, and child of this country is being exhausted in full. However, the atmosphere will unfortunately be divided because of the corrupt and evil narrative. It will get ugly, but the Patriots are in control. And I'll be frank with you, folks. I don't think it gets that ugly. I know I'm the minority on this. I don't think it gets that ugly. I think it's over lickety-split really quick, and the only ones that really get hurt are the bad guys. Unfortunately, there might be some people caught in crossfire. There's going to be a lot of feels hurt, but I think that's the extent of it. It's over by Elections Tuesday. It's all over by the weekend, probably sooner. And we can get back to normal. And I don't care what you say, we are going back to normal. Post 34 will be initiating the emergency broadcast system during this time as an effort to provide direct messages to citizens. This is the only way that they can totally bypass the fake news, the regime media, and speak to all Americans. The press has already been concerned about President Trump's control over the EBS, and he's already tested it once. You'll remember that. Organizations and people that do wish us harm during this time will be met with swift fury. They will be met with swift fury. And our great military will have the authority to handle and conduct these operations. These operations weren't for 2017 when this post was issued. They were for 2020. If President Trump failed, if we failed, and Hillary Rodham Clinton assumed control, the Patriots were prepared to do the unthinkable, which was leaked internally and kept the delegate recount scam and Barack Obama from declaring fraud. That means they were ready to take over the government. Dig deeper. You're missing critical points to paint the full picture. There's simply no other way to use the military. It's that corrupt and dirty. The leaked threat of direct military intervention explains why Hillary meekly backed down from demanding a recount and why post-election delegate tampering also fizzled out. The generals and admirals were serious, and they still got our back. Before POTUS departs on Friday, he'll be sending an important message via Twitter. The trigger tweet from Trump has been mentioned several times over the years, and it's an important article of faith among fight clubbers. Look to Twitter, exactly this. My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us. The post-election code word from the president to be tweeted after the communists explode in red rage. As the activated National Guard and Marines make their clean and swift move while the president activates emergency broadcast system, notice how the 2017 dates for these posts precisely precede 11/3, another known fight club tactic. To you weakened deep state reds, to you regime media, to you assholes on YouTube, go ahead and follow through with your implied threats. Go ahead and try to stir up mayhem. Go ahead and try to usher in a violent constitutional crisis. Do your worst. You're about to walk into a trap that was set for you a long time ago, ladies and gentlemen. A long time ago. Let me visit one more thing as we close. I have to call this to your attention because it's so amazing and so many of you refuse to see it. Why does Bible prophecy and why do all the self-proclaimed prophets of the end time, why do they all push the anti-Trump agenda? I'm talking about the YouTubers, most of the YouTubers that are critical of me, and most of the YouTubers that I've been critical of in the past, but I'm not going to say their names. They all are pushing the anti-Trump agenda. They're all pushing the anti-Trump agenda. Why? Because it's the only way that Christians and the prophecy crowd get what they want. President Trump is preventing the fulfillment of scripted prophecy. Prophecy really ended back in AD 70. We all know that. But these Christians and these prophet pimps that want you to believe that Revelation's future and want you to believe that Matthew 24 is future, want you to believe that prophecy's future when I've proven to you that it's not, it's past. They still want you to not vote for President Trump because when President Trump gets reelected, none of the prophetic things happen. But if President Trump doesn't get reelected, all of the prophetic things happen, and they happen in the next couple of 3-4 years. What do the prophets want? What do the Bible bashers and Bible bangers proclaim? They proclaim the Biden agenda. Let me show you what the Biden agenda looks like when you read it in the Bible. This is going to set some people free, and this is going to piss some people off, and this is going to wake some people up. This is your come to plastic Jesus moment right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is a, oh my God, this crazy bitch is right. This is it coming to you right now. What does the New World Order, what does Big Mike Obama, Creepy Joe Biden, and Heels Up Harris, what do they predict? What do they predict, ladies and gentlemen? And look at what Plastic Jesus predicts in the red letters. in the Bible that you say is the book for me. Look at what he predicts. And what if I can show you that Plastic Jesus predicts the same thing as Big Mike Obama? And Plastic Jesus predicts the same thing as Creepy Joe. And Plastic Jesus predicts the same thing as Heels Up Harris. What would you do? Well, you better get ready, because here it comes. Wars and rumors of wars. Just like Big Mike said. Just like Creepy Joe said. Just like Heels Up Harris said. Nation against nation. Kingdom against kingdom. Famine. You won't be able to get your food. The food lines. Big Mike said it. Creepy Joe said it. And who's the other one I'm talking about? Heels Up Harris said it. Pestilence, earthquake, beginning of sorrows is going to get worse. Plastic Jesus, repeating Big Mike Obama, repeating Creepy Joe, repeating Heels Up Harris. They're going to deliver you up to be afflicted. They're coming after you, white people. They're going to kill you. You're going to be hated. Is that Big Mike Obama? Oh, no, that's Plastic Jesus. Many going to be offended. Many betray one another. Many hate one another. Is that Joe Biden? Oh, no, that's Plastic Jesus. Red letters. Oh, my God. Iniquity shall abound. Love will grow cold. Is that Big Mike Obama? No, that's Plastic Jesus. The end's going to come. Is that Creepy Joe? No, that's Plastic Jesus. Woe to you that got babies in those days. Woe to you that are on the Sabbath day. There's going to be great tribulation, says Big Mike Obama, says Creepy Joe, says Heels Up Harris, says Plastic Jesus, says these YouTube bitches. And unless those days are short, unless you elect Joe Biden or pray Plastic Jesus back, nobody going to get saved. But because you're going to elect Joe or you're going to have Plastic Jesus come back, it'll be shortened. Ladies and gentlemen, Bible prophecy is the Biden agenda. How long will you be too stupid to see it? And how long will you run and hide from facing me? Forever, because you know you'll get destroyed, because I'm destroying your ass right here and right now. War. Rumors of war, fires everywhere, civil unrest everywhere, men's hearts failing them for fear, economic collapse, hate within families. Remember, Plastic Jesus said, I came to turn the father against the son against the mother, the brother against everybody else. Hate within families, people killing each other, government tagging of humans, mark of the beast, oh my God. Lockdowns, dreaded plague and virus, one world ruler. At the end of Revelation, what happens? At the end of Revelation, what happens? What are you Christians praying for? Oh, at the end of Revelation, God comes down, the New Jerusalem. They reign from the New Jerusalem over all the earth, one world religion, one world government, one world ruler, and he rules with an iron rod. Listen to yourselves. One world ruler, one world government from Jerusalem that rules with an iron rod. And all of you great experts that know who runs Jerusalem and who would be running it if it rained from Jerusalem. President Trump makes this all impossible. That's why they don't want you to vote for President Trump. If you vote for Joe Biden, this happens. And it's not really biblical. It just is being used by the deep state as scripted prophecy to make you be stupid enough to be a sheep willingly. But if you don't vote, it happens. If you vote for Biden, it happens. The only way that Bible prophecy can be prevented from happening is if President Trump gets reelected on Tuesday. And isn't it amazing that all of these people that I just so much want to tell you who they are? All these people, all they want you to do is not vote for President Trump. Why? Because President Trump makes the end time prophecy scenario impossible. President Trump makes Bible prophecy impossible because Bible prophecy is already past. It's not future. They don't want you to vote for Donald Trump because that means Joe Biden becomes president. And when Joe Biden becomes president, it becomes reality, and it becomes reality starting January 20th. And Cynthia asked the smartest question I've ever heard on this whole subject. Presidents are selected. They're not elected. Voting doesn't matter. If voting doesn't count, if voting doesn't matter, then why are they cheating so hard? Why are they threatening so hard? If voting doesn't count, then why are they cheating so hard? You have been exposed. All of you bitches, you've been exposed. You've been exposed. And you don't deserve this, but because I am who I am, and I'm not like you, I am going to take time out of my Sunday afternoon, and I'm going to open up the phone lines right now. And if you can be polite and if you can be interesting, ooh, dark mode. I love dark mode. Open your settings. Sorry, I'm going to put dark mode on, folks. Select themes. Got it. Where's the select themes? Themes. Dark. Oh, I love the dark mode. Oh, it's so much easier on my eyes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're good to go. I think we're good to go. Notifications and sounds. Let me just go back to home. I think we're good. So I have opened the phone lines. I have opened the phone lines. You can call me as I delete all call history. You can call me at 913-279-0831. 913-279-0831. And let me make a direct challenge. If you're one of these low integrity pieces of shit that does nothing but scare people and is a traitor to our country on your channel, reach down into your pants and see if you feel any testicles there. If you do, pick up the phone and call me. If you think I'm wrong, pick up the phone and call me. If you have a question, pick up the phone and call me. If you have a challenge, pick up the phone and call me. Let's reserve it right now just for people that don't like me, don't believe me, think I'm wrong. Alan says, let's see if they have the balls. They won't. We're going to give you, it's 112. I'm going to give you until 120. I'm going to give you until 120. No one that likes me, call. No one that loves me, call. If you love my jacket, don't call. If you think I'm a great guy, don't call. Let's see if these little slimy trolls, let's see if any of them have any integrity. Let's see if any of them have any integrity. We'll wait and see if they call. And it doesn't have to be just those YouTube content providers, but anybody. All of you brave souls that have been trolling my chat and getting knocked out, here's your choice. Jeff always knocks me out of the chat. That's because Jeff opens up the phone lines and says, call me, call me, call me, call me. You got another 5 minutes or 7 minutes. We'll leave it 8 minutes. We'll leave it open for you. And then we're going to take calls from everybody else. What are you saying, Jeff? Really? Go back and listen. Now you're talking my language, says Steve Borg. Yeah, we got a little carried away. Lady Justice digging my passion today. Thank you, Lady Justice. And I sent Paladin and you an email. Anytime you're ready for a show, I'm ready. I'd love to have you on our show, on my channel anytime. Just tell me when it'll work for you too, and I'm there. If you want me on your channel, just tell me, and I will be there as well. Let's see. Alex, tragic story about doctors. David Salas, of course he is part of that, no doubt about it. Alan Kister, that's some MF in truth. It is. I try not to say that much. Cynthia hates that word, but sometimes you got to do it. Thank you, Lover Ridge. I appreciate that very much. Damn, Jeff went raw, says the Texican. Yeah, he did. I got to do that every now and then. Beyond All says there's loads of true channels saying voting is a facade. No, there's not, Beyond All. No, there's not. Because if they're a truth channel, they're not saying that. And if they are saying that, they're not a truth channel. And that's evident by not one of them calling in. Fauci is a part. Falsey is a part of the deep state. No doubt about it. How about that one? Tell It To Me picks up. Oh, they're in charge of the voting machines too. Secular Messiah wants to yak in the chat, but won't pick up the phone and call. Let's see. What else we got here? POTUS tells it like it is. Regeneron, says Alan. The RV life in the house, nice to see you. Chiropractors, I think, are good people. You got to find a good chiropractor, but I think they are really actually true medical professionals. They are true medical professionals. Beyond All's in small town Missouri. Call me. Trump will not force anything on anyone. He's never said he would force anything on anyone, and he won't. Trump isn't forcing masks, says State of Atlanteus. He's doing the vaccine so that no one has an excuse for why the country cannot get back to business. Brilliantly stated, Atlanteus. Brilliantly stated. Military will protect product and distribute quickly. State of Atlanteus, my new favorite chatter. That was brilliant, State of Atlanteus. Brilliant. I'm going to turn the phone lines off and turn them right back on 1 second just to make sure that I did turn them on, because I hear nothing but crickets. Isn't that amazing? Nothing but crickets. Nothing but crickets. Great shows as Critical Thinker. Thank you. Trump's our only hope. He is right now. If you were using your own power, you wouldn't be in the fear porn. Absolutely. Live in the RV, going through chemotherapy. Wonder how it would help. I think it would. It would. There's pockets of trouble, but they're going to be knocked down very, very quickly. Snuffy TC1. Why don't you just call? Why don't you just call? Call them out by their name, Jeff. Yeah, it gives them free publicity, and I don't want to do that. I'm getting excited, says Critical Thinker. Me too. It is really, really close. Let's see. They're testing for something that doesn't even exist. Well, it exists, but it's not what they say it is. I'm getting text messages. I want to make sure the lovely Cynthia is not trying to communicate something to me very important, as she sometimes will do on text. No, it's just from President Trump. Big Mikey Obama and his crotch rocket. Yep. Every word that comes out of the Biden's mouth is a lie, says Jeff Goldblum. He's right. You got 4 more minutes just for you naysayers. Those of you that disagree with me, and that's okay if you disagree with me. Just be polite and be interesting. Anti-Trumpers are globalist thieves. They are, says Wendy, and she's right 100%. Professor Grampy's garage. Why don't you call Professor Grampy? Nobody said the warp speed vax was good. We said the warp speed therapeutics were, and there's some people that just got to have a vaccine, and the president wants them to have that if that's what they need. Like Gary Baxter says, this show is a great example of global warming because all the snowflakes melt away and can't call. Sapphire Owl, I think the president will have your back. And if he invokes the Insurrection Act, he doesn't have to wait for your terrible, awful, horrific governor. And your stupid attorney general confessed yesterday that President Trump does have a great chance at winning Minnesota, and I think that he does. Gospel Rangers, I'm surprised to find you on my side, but this is a good example. We can be opposite on Christianity and still be patriots together for our great president. They say Trump's going to win. We're going to take back Congress and Senate. Happy days are here again. I agree with you 100%. Kingus, I'm so excited for next week. I really am. I'm so excited for next week. Let's see. President Trump will complete the ending to a long-standing evil, says David Ayers. I agree 100%. Have some essentials, have some ammo, be locked and loaded. Harry suggests, and I suggest that 100% as well. Let's see. Joe Biden's known for repeating. We all know that well. All right. 2 more minutes for you naysayers. Then we'll take a few calls for people that aren't naysayers. They will not have your worship with President Trump. They won't. Alan says, thank you. I appreciate. Thank you. And someone says voting for Biden's actually voting for Harris. It is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the hell with these little cockroaches. We will open up the phone lines for maybe 5-10 minutes for anybody else that wants to call in. The phone number is 913-279-0831. It's 913-279-0831. If you want to call in here, let me make it easier for you. If you want to call in, we're just going to have a few minutes because this isn't something that we normally do on this time of our show. Oh, I need to go back here. Let me make it a little bit easier for you on the phone number. and this will be a little advertisement for tomorrow night, 10 p.m. We'll be here with Late Night in the Heartland, 10 p.m. until midnight Central Time. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's the phone number, 913-279-0831. Seeker of Truth, get out and vote, everyone. It's worth it. We cannot have a Biden presidency because we will end up with Harris as our sitting president. And you will see, and I'm going to talk tomorrow night, I've got a list here, what happens if Joe Biden wins the election. So one last chance, one last appeal to human rationale and reason. And here's a caller. It's not your normal Sunday. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff, this is your favorite, one of your favorites. I hope I'm still one of your favorites. This is Mr. Akil Will, and I just have a quick question here.
You are one of my favorites, never fear.
Why would President Trump be pushing Space Force when everybody knows that the Earth is flat and there are other hidden continents? So why would he want us to stay within our 7 continents and not explore different areas of this flat infinite plane? Is puzzling to me. I'm still going to vote for Trump, even though I disagreed a little bit on his position with the limbs. I'm still going to vote for him. But
thank you.
Those two issues really concern me.
What's the other one? Space Force concerns you, and what else does?
The limb. His position with the limb.
Yeah, we've already kind of been through the limbs one a few times, but I agree with you, Mr. Acuwell. I agree with you. The Space Force is puzzling for me. So I don't really know. I'm kind of out on that one. But listen to this. Think about this. What if he knows that there's already weapons deployed in our atmosphere by other nations that mean us ill, and he just wants to be able to call attention to it and let the other nations know, or the other places on this flat plane know, that we know what they're doing and that we will defend ourselves.
Okay.
But it is puzzling. Why would he do the Space Force? And it's possible President Trump doesn't know that we're not on a spinning ball.
Okay. Talking about Mars, and when to me it seems like you're going to try to imprison us. That's
a good point.
So I'm off. Take a look at Malcolm X's Ballard Bullet. It falls in line with what blacks need to do.
It's Malcolm X's what?
Ballot or bullet.
Ballot or bullet. Okay.
It's a prophetic speech.
I'm going to look at it right as soon as we get off.
Okay, I'm out.
Thank you, Mr. Acuwell. He brings up a great point. It is puzzling on the Space Force thing. I'm puzzled, but I'm not. It's not enough to make me bail. Thank you for holding. You're live. It's not your normal Sunday, and please turn down the background.
Okay. Down.
You sound great. What's on your mind?
Well, since I've been following you, I've been pretty much disenchanted by all my friends. They all think I'm nuts.
Mm-hmm.
They all think I'm crazy. It's how do you unindoctrinate somebody that's been brainwashed their entire life?
You don't.
I've been trying to get them to watch you. I'll watch you for 30 seconds and get mad and turn it off because you piss them off.
I know. And I've never unindoctrinated anybody, and you'll never unindoctrinate anybody. What we do is we put out the information that allows them to unindoctrinate themselves. And if you notice, I try to do things rationally. I try to do things reasonably. I try to do things gently. And then sometimes I just break out the stick and start whipping ass. And the reason is trying to hit all the people that are in different positions. And sometimes people are so delirious, you got to slap the shit out of them to get them to realize for a minute what's going on. So that's why I do what I do. And I don't recommend you do it. It's a little different when you do it in person, but you just have to be there. You have to be providing the information. And one of these days, a moment will come and they will say, oh, shit, I never thought about that. And then all the information you've been giving them begins to start coming to their mind. But we can't indoctrinate them. We bring them to the water, hope they drink. We bring them the information, hope they think. Just deliver the mail, brother.
Hey, well, I'll be a mailman just like you, my brother.
That's what we need. We need more mailmen. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate you.
Yep.
Take care. All right. Do we got one more? We don't got one more. Let's go ahead and end on that. That was a great call to end on. We got a couple calls in on Monday night, which is tomorrow night. We'll take your calls for 2 hours. But that one, we're done. It's already been an hour and a half show. We know that y'all got places to go and you got things to do. And I appreciate you spending some of your time with us here on Not Your Normal Sunday. For all of the great moderators, I appreciate you so very much. For all of the great attendees, you're here seeking after truth. I really salute you for that. Think about what we said. Listen to yourself. Don't outsource your thinking to other people. Don't outsource your thinking to other people. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. This has been Not Your Normal Sunday. And I want to thank you for making my week. You might see me later on today, but we'll definitely see you again tomorrow. Thank you, Alan. That's a way to close it out right there. Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, your mailman. Rain, snow, sleet, dark, and night. We're always bringing it to you, and we're bringing it to you right. Take care, ladies and gentlemen.